And welcome back to Barry's Poetic Session Presents the Relationship Show. Barry, a.k.a. the Dark Knight. We got Life, L.I.F.E, Living Inspiration Forever. Got it about the light of Jesus Christ and you don't stop.
Straight out of Gatling Bones.
And our hostesses of the evening. We got Andrea Newbill and Takalani. And take it away, Takalani.
So today's topic is going to be how to deal with finances in a relationship, and also what to do if a spouse is unemployed. So first thing I did was look up on Susie Orman's website.
I just watched her last night.
She's like one of my favorite financial advisors other than my husband. And so I thought she would have some good stuff to say. And she basically had 5 remedies for couples who argue about money. 1, get real. Is it the money or the relationship? And she said, money has no power on its own. So if you're arguing about money, it may be indicative of another issue in the relationship.
Absolutely, because that's what it usually is. I mean, if you think about it, when you look at statistics, it talks about, it says money is the #1 reason people break up, but it's really the communication piece.
I think it's communication, and I think it's power.
The power.
Because I know I've known couples where one person was not employed and the other person was, and the other person would feel like, oh, well, I've been in work all day, so now you just have to do what I say, when I say, blah, blah, blah. They kind of feel like the person that doesn't have the job is like a child or something.
Right.
And so it's like they kind of feel like they have power over them and they lose respect for them.
But the thing is, they don't know their role in the marriage.
Or it could be the person has a gambling problem, or they just different on how they deal with finances. And they, even if they talk about it, they can't get past their own, hey, I'm a spender, I'm a saver, and they're not going to be in agreement, and they don't want to compromise on it.
Yeah.
So,
But still, you still
and that's
even in a marriage, what do people think marriage is? Well, I'm speaking from a marital standpoint, or even in a relationship. You still, if you choose to live as a couple, as husband and wife, and although you're not married, you still have your role, you still have responsibilities.
Right.
So that's just part of the good and the bad, whether you say the vows or not. The richer and the poor, in sickness and in health, that's just part of the vows.
right. But if someone is spending something like like they buy anything that they see on TV, or they're a gambler or whatever, and they acknowledge it, but I'm gonna still do it, then they're stubborn. That's all.
That's selfish.
That's a selfishness as opposed to a communication issue, but it's still all money related.
Right, y'all hit it on the spot. Selflessness. When you selfish, that just eliminate a whole lot of stuff. Because in your relationship, it's supposed to come together as one.
Right.
But then if a person is not agreeing with how it's supposed to be, for example, if you're together and you ask your spouse like, hey, I need a laptop. I need a laptop bad, but the other spouse said, you know what? We said we're going to stick to this budget. We can't get it at this time. Then that spouse said, well, it's my money. I just asked you, but I'm going to just go ahead and get it anyway. I'm saying it because
That's still communication, but it's not good communication.
Right, and it's not, but then it's like about a
Like,
control.
why did you even ask?
Right, why didn't you ask me? Because you're trying to go down the line, trying to be right, or you want me to say agree with you, but you're gonna do what you're gonna do anyway, and then you start to, going apart instead of coming together. And then another thing is, what you spoke about. Now it's funny. I've been in a relationship before. When I was out of work, the female that I was with, she loved when I was out of work. And that was back in the day when I used to just play the games and I had my young son or whatever. She loved that. When I got a job, it was a problem. That's crazy, yeah. Because she wanted to be the breadwinner, like she wanted to be in control, or plus I wasn't going. Well, you ain't, she was accusing me of messing with ladies on the job or you know what I mean?
Right.
So that was kind of crazy.
So she knew, it was her insecurity.
Right.
But it was her insecurity.
Right.
Exactly.
And control.
Right.
So
I guess
the
those are
next
two different
thing she says is talk, don't shout. before you attack, listen. Then when it's your turn to speak, calmly explain your concerns and goals. Now, I think that's really important because money discussions can get heated, and quick.
Well, if you have a joint account, because
What you spend $1.25 on?
we had separate accounts, and I paid my bills. I was used to that. We was gonna get it. Well, it came to a point that I had got a lot of money, and I made that our joint account. Right.
No.
Right. But then
in my
this
vows, I
stuff-
said it's all hers because I already know.
But so when that was like a test. That was like a test. So I got all this money from the
A test for you or her?
It opened my eyes. Like we were supposed to just put money in this account, but you taking money out for like stupid stuff, like getting mad at me and going to a hotel and taking the money. I'm like, what, man? Okay. But this person wasn't a person, like we would go out of town and we would save money. We would have so much money that we'd go out of town where we wouldn't even spend. She wouldn't even want to spend any money. But it's just different situations that you get upset just to go in that account. You know what I mean?
Listen, angry.
So I think
You have to know the person ahead of time. That's why you gotta ask that question.
But some
Do you slash tires? Do you drain the bank
Nah, you know what I'm
account? You gotta find that out ahead of time.
But you know what? In a relationship,
You don't know.
Who gonna say? You know, it's a risk. Like who gonna say? Like you know what? In 3 years, I'm gonna cheat on you.
No. I mean, it's not that, but you have to go on. You only go on past history and find out what kind of person they are. And I mean, it helps to ask those questions ahead of time. I
You
know.
gotta be prayed up and
Yeah,
have
but
a
you
lot
still have
of
to ask the right
discernment
question.
because
Because you learn each time. Like, one relationship you ask this question, okay, that happened. Then you ask the question next time from the past relationship because it's a new thing that happened.
pattern. If they
Yeah,
start to
so it's a
say
new
that.
thing. Like, hey, wait a minute, is it me or is it? Did you do this? Oh,
When you first date somebody, it's their representative, it's not them.
That's it. Got your representative showing up for real, for real. It's about what, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th month. By that time, usually by the 4th month, you start to see the real person.
but I was just gonna say, I used to ask, what is your worst breakup? Because then, especially if you end up getting married, your worst breakup is gonna be worse because you can't get out of it. In most instances, you gotta then, okay, what's the line and what's their limit, and then they might go over that. So if their line is here, then I want somebody's line is a little higher or different. Because in the finances, because how people view their finances, and then how do people think they can hurt you
Execute, yeah.
when they're in they say a shouting match, but when it goes past that.
Drain it.
I think it's important too, though, to be able to know what your financial weaknesses are and what your financial strengths are. And some people don't acknowledge that. Like if you're an overspender, then acknowledge that. And then if your spouse is not, be like, okay, well, you take care of the finances because I'm gonna be out here spending up some money. So
Right.
you keep a handle on that. And because I wouldn't say an overspender, but I'm an unwise spender. I'm an impulse type spender.
Yeah.
So, and it may not be hundreds of dollars, but I do like small increments daily, and then it'll just go up and up and up, and then I'll be like, oh, at the end of the week, I don't know where my money at. So I told him that he's the one in charge because he's more financially responsible. But I was humble enough to say, okay, I'm not the most responsible person in here, so
And,
I'm gonna have to
and
turn it
that's
over
where
to
it
him.
goes. A lot of people don't get to that point to know this is my or not humble enough, like you said, to allow somebody else to take this on. Hey, it mostly is men. Like we don't really like want to get okay. You just take my paycheck. And, wait, can I get an allowance? I'm giving you my money and I'm asking for an allowance. Now,
I get
few
an
men,
allowance.
right. Now, that's hard to
Like,
do.
just tell me what I can spend. That's all I need to know.
But it just depends on who does it and who's the spender, who's the saver, and who can budget or who's better at whatever, and sticking to it. And you guys, have to work together. But I was just gonna say, if people think of money as a tool as opposed to an end all, it'll help a whole lot better. Like having a hammer. Okay, what do you need? What are you trying to build? You know, what are you know this? It's a piece of construction. What are you trying to build? Okay, you want to build this car, you want to build this house, or you want to build, you want to go on vacation, or you want to build going that, and get down to the specifics of what you want to do with the money, as opposed to trying just to get money. It helps you focus much better, because then you're aligned on, okay, I'm trying to get a house, then that means I need to get my credit right. That means I can't buy on credit this other stuff when I want my credit to be this way, and it kind of helps you manage not only the money itself, but you're not being managed by money. You're managing your money to do what you want in the proper direction.
So may I ask you a question? Did you guys have that discussion? Because that's a lot.
We had that discussion early on, and I was like, okay.
Very early.
I was like, wait a minute, she trying to trick me. She think, uh-oh.
I mean, how long have we been dating? Not even 2 months when we had a financial discussion.
We had a couple of them, but you had the revelation, as I call it. And I was like, okay. Can I deal with that?
Very long before we got married.
Yeah, but it's like, can you deal with, because one thing is, can you deal with people's assets, and then can you deal with people's debts? And, and people talk about credit or whatever. The credit's not the important part, it's how much you owe and how much you have to quote unquote lose. Like half of 10,000 is different than half of, these guys with millions. I only got, half, you know what I mean? Hey, I only got $5 and giving you $250.
Oh yeah, because if we get divorced, I won't have.
You see what I'm saying? So you take all your debt.
No, I don't want the debt. I want the assets.
You get half of everything.
You get half the debt. I get half.
We get half of once we came in, or whatever we leave with. But we build together.
So I don't know if that's in there where y'all talking about like a prenup. Should
now prenup,
your average person should get a prenup.
Now, should you get a prenup because it costs a certain amount of money? Some of them,
And what did that say about the relationship? If you coming in saying that I'm gonna get a prenup, I mean, then it might
not to me.
But
me.
It also kind of protects the family's assets, depending on if you are a part of like a family business, or you have family ties where you're taking care of your mom, or she's taking care of her dad, or there's children prior to the marriage.
Yeah.
You have to kind of protect your family prior to coming in. That's separate from the two of you, even though this is together forever.
And I think that people look at prenups in the wrong way. People look at it as basically saying, I am predicting that we will get divorced. That's not what a prenup is. All a prenup is basically dividing and protecting assets in the event of a divorce.
It's kind of like insurance.
And I would not mind signing one because, say I got married to somebody that was a millionaire, you can negotiate those. If they come back and say, you get $1,000 for every year you was married, no, bruh, I want $1 million for every year I was married to you. And I need a stake in your company, and I need a house paid for and a car paid for, and I'm good. And they can come back and say, okay, we're not giving you $1 million a year, but how about we do $10,000 a year? And you can go back and forth and negotiate just like you do anything else. Now that doesn't mean that we're going to get divorced or that we're planning to, but the fact of the matter is that you do have to protect your assets in the event that you get divorced.
Especially like it's family, like I said, extension of the family.
Exactly.
Well, like I said, the average Joe. Should the average Joe have a prenup?
Yes.
Because
Well,
like he just said, if you got $5,
depends on what they're trying
Well,
to
I was going to
protect.
say, if you have more than $10,000 at risk or whatever, then you want to look into it. Under $10,000, really, it's going to cost too much. It's not really beneficial if the two of you are coming with assets less than that.
Well,
and I'm just saying that,
Like for
because
you should
it's
get a
going to
prenup
cost.
because you have a home.
It's going to cost close to $1,000 perhaps to get a prenup. So that's why you have to really kind of think about, do you really need it that much? I mean, you're already spending $1,000 on the wedding, and you're going to be in debt and things like that. So there.
You spend $1,000 on a wedding?
Nope.
So I'm saying, I saw one where it's like 110,000. I was like, and she was not satisfied. I'm like, whoa, what?
When we start talking about finances and it becomes number one in a relationship, if that's all we're talking about, then it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem.
Right.
Actually, let me get through these last three and then we'll discuss them. She also says set goals and automate. Basically saying like if you decide you want to put $300 a month in the savings and one person spends the $300 at the mall or something, it's like, oh no, I forgot we take that 300 out or whatever. She's saying automate it, get it automatically taken out of your checking account and put into your savings so you don't even have to
Or
think
out
about
of your
it.
check before it even gets to your checking account.
And then sharing responsibility. We actually kind of touched on that, talking about dividing the finances. And one thing that I did come to realize is that when we first got married, I said everything is on you. You pay all the bills, you do everything. Just give me an amount and say that's all you can spend, and I will stay within those parameters. Well, the problem is that after a while, I got a little uncomfortable not knowing what was going on financially. I'm like, did we pay the gas and electric bill? Did we do? And it wasn't that I didn't trust him, but it really kind of sucks. You feel like a child. It's like you have no responsibility.
And you were used to doing it
exactly
on your own for so long. That's what I'm saying. For you to be humble and say, hey, a lot of people can't do that. Like even when I got married, it was we thought about that. When we used to doing your thing, me doing my thing. Because me, when I was growing up, I used to save money all the time. My mother used to take money. I used to keep my little money in a little drawer. She was like, I need some money. I'm going in. Take money. But when I had a problem.
I had a bunch of IOUs in my drawer.
I had a problem, like, I guess it was a good problem, but people were like, you were weird. When I got on my own, a bill would come in. Bills come in early. I worry so much. I gotta pay these. I'll pay them ahead of time. It was just so many times I get electric bill, it'd be like zero, because I was in the mindset like when I was on my own, I did not want to fail at nothing. So I would pay all the bills like before and I would worry like, oh, this gotta be. It's not due yet, and I'm paying out. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying it way before it is due. That's how I am in my mind. Like, and at that time, it made me get good credit. Yeah. But when you with somebody, that's a problem. Like, you don't have to pay the bill. We can do something else with this. Why are you paying?
We can delay it. It ain't gonna be late for 30 days.
And like, wait a minute, like, so then you lose jobs or whatever. And then, but I have it set up that these bills are already coming out, my account.
Right.
And I would be like, I don't have to worry about it. That's already paid. That's how I build my good credit. Well, no, take that. Just pay it when you can. You know what I mean? Because we need to do some other stuff and this and that. So it's hard. It's hard to give over the reins to someone else.
Oh, and the fifth thing that Susie Norman says, don't wait until after the wedding to work out the kinks. We touched on that too. Have that talk early. Yeah. Especially if you feel like it's somebody you're going to be with long term, even if you're not sure if it's going to be marriage yet, but you like, I can see myself being with them for a while. Right. Get that conversation out the way, because it's a thing like you might fall in love with this person, you find out they a gambler, and it's somebody like you to want to pay bills ahead of time. That's not going to work. Right. If that gambler doesn't want to change, y'all not gonna work. So you need to know that early before you get too invested in what's going on. So,
but I mean, one of the reasons I use gambling, but it doesn't have to be just gambling. But that's one of the shopaholic gambling. It can be somebody that puts in the bad investments. I know the one guy, he was getting divorced, and he would make bad investments on purpose. That is going bankrupt, put $1,000. Yeah, what's the highest commission I can get? Let me get that.
Wow.
So that he could sabotage their joint account. So by the time it was time to separate their money, it's they got a movie coming out called War Room where people just get ugly in relationships.
I never seen it, but at work, it's a guy. We was just talking about something like this. He was addicted to buying stuff online. Right. They got so bad that the UPS guy knew him like, hey, I'll just get you a lot of boxes, and you know what I mean?
Wow.
Because he would buy stuff online. His wife knew that he had a problem, and I was like, well, are you a hoarder too? He went, well, not really. I buy a lot of old stuff, and I collect stuff, and she knows that before we got married, but it became, an addiction. You online every day buying stuff that, old stuff they're trying to.
If you're doing something every day, it's an addiction of you, admit it or not.
On Craigslist, unsafe stuff, going out, meeting people at McDonald's because you buy stuff from Craigslist and all that stuff.
Wow.
So what do you do when you get in, and I hate to go off key a little bit, a relationship that somebody, you didn't know this until you got in a relationship, or y'all live together.
But you know what, some of those things are there. You can see that when you go out to dinner, if you want, every time you go out to dinner, or say for instance, the person every time they go out to dinner, either they want to go to White Castle or they want to go somewhere, let's go to Capitol Grill. Well, every time you go to dinner, it's going to be $100 and $50. You're like, we really don't have, we can go to Fridays. But those things, I think the behaviors are there. Either we don't learn to identify them, or we don't know how to identify them, or we choose not to.
Or the person can still hide it well. Like, for instance, they'll go, like, you'll have, if you're not living together, it's easier to hide stuff. So, the person will be like, hey, just, I'll see you in the morning. And then at 10 to midnight, they're gambling, or 10 until, and then they look raggedy in the morning, like, what's wrong with you? Oh, I didn't sleep well. Of course you didn't, you were gambling all night. But you didn't say that,
But you don't know.
But you don't know. And some people, they become functioning addicts, just like a drug addict.
Alcoholic.
So, alcoholic, and you just don't know those behaviors, but or even, I would say chain smokers, all of a sudden they're addicted to something, they can't get out of it. Like, hey, I don't have $5 for this. I got $5 for my smoke.
Let me go over the 11 tips for surviving a spouse's unemployment, and then we'll go through and discuss some things you guys want to discuss. First thing is have a plan and a routine. Very early on, sit down with your partner and discuss a strategy for the job hunt. Number 2, don't push.
That's if the spouse is unemployed or underemployed.
Right. Number 2, don't push or second guess unless asked. Resist the tendency to offer your opinions or point out how things should be done. Number 3, give encouragement. Boost your spouse's morale and confidence by reminding them of their strengths.
Get a damn job.
Do not hide it from the kids. Tell the kids what's going on, and even have them participate in helping ways to save money. Communicate.
Whoa, stop right there.
Hold on. Communicate. Talking is a major coping tool. And do not interrogate. Don't force your spouse to recount every detail of the search every freaking day. Have an open mind. Depending on the job market, you may have to make a move, or your spouse may have to be underemployed for a while. Do not be a catastrophist. Know that it is temporary and a manageable situation. Don't look at it as something that's going to go on forever. Have fun. Laugh, hug, take walks together, have a romantic dinner alone at home once a week. Don't keep asking, have you found anything yet? Instead, schedule weekly meetings to review the job search. And 11, count your blessings. Focus on all that's right in life and encourage your spouse to do the same.
Let's
open it up
that's
to
real
discussion.
good.
And we're going to discuss it. Let's take a break real quick, and we'll be right back and discuss what's going on in these relationships.
All right.
Hi, kids!
Tiny Tots Kitty Care, serving the Westwood area for over 18 years, is currently accepting enrollment for children ages 6 weeks to 12 years of age. Now open Monday through Friday, 24 hours a day. For more information, call 513-662-TOTS. That's 513-662-8687. And welcome back to Barry's Poetic Session. Presents the Relationship Show with Andrea Newville and Takalani. And we're talking about, recently, about finances, and specifically if someone is unemployed and how to deal with that.
Yes, so we just, I just read the 11 things that you're supposed to do to keep the marriage, you know, on a positive note when you're going through that. So just wanted to get some thoughts from you guys about that.
I feel that's real good. You know why? Because if you're going by that, if you both can go by that, then you're really in love. You know what I mean? For everything that you're really in love because, like we said, love is a risk. You don't know
Right.
when it's easy when everything is good. When you got a lot of money in the bank, or you got some money in the bank, and things is going good, and everything is happy, joy. But when you know about a relationship, when that money leaves,
Or when you hit any hard road.
right, any hard times come, will that spouse be right next to you? You know, I put in one of my poems a long time ago, making it rhyme, that I see these two, a man and woman in a Mercedes-Benz, leaving the church in a Mercedes-Benz, just arguing, fighting at each other in a car. But these two people at the bus stop was just looking at each other in their eyes, like so happy together. They at the bus stop. You know what I mean? So if you can go through that and continue to be with each other, like that's what people want. We want somebody, you know, like what the vows say, do good or bad, rich or poor. Can we really do that? Or do we got to put it back out the vows? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, some people can do for better.
Yeah.
And you can't do for
But
one.
it's like for worse, like like everybody want to ride or die until it's time to die.
Yeah.
And you know, I think like when I got married in 2007, in 2008, you know, I'm making $40,000+ a year. 2007 to 2008, I lost my job. So it wasn't my spouse, like I started feeling like, hey, been on the job for 10.5 years, the job market was different. Plus I was in the mortgage. The mortgage was the meltdown, was
Right.
really meltdown.
For sure.
So
To the
now,
finance.
you know, you got your finances, your status change, you know.
Well, let me ask you this: how did you get through that?
God. I continue to pray. I continue to have faith in God, and through it all, at the end of the day, you take on everything, even not just inside of my home that I'm providing, but my mother. I used to be. I could do things for her, give her money, pay her little bills or something like that.
Right.
But then when it comes to the point that it got bad, well, I still had money, but
Well, you talked about you feeling bad yourself, not so much what outside people were doing. Now, how did you cope with feeling bad yourself? Like, and you said God, but what did God lead you to do?
to trust in Him, because like you gotta listen. All right, for example,
When you
before-
trusted
So
in
did
Him,
it
what
matter
happened?
that you
When
got
I-
encouragement or not?
listen. This is what God put on my heart. I got pictures and photos. I can go back and look at the photos that I went to Mexico in 2004 and 2004. Everything that, you know, I can look back and see what God did way back then. So right now, I come back to now like, oh, things are messed up or whatever. But He made a way back then. He's gonna make a way again. I just had to believe in that.
So you did what they said. You knew it was temporary.
And I'm a visual person. So God led me back. Go back to these books. Remember, I did this for you. I made you go. You went out of the country. This is it, and came back home with money.
Right.
So you know, I'm your guy, not
Right.
money. So I feel that it's
You set your priorities.
right, but it's a process. You know, we don't go to school one day and then graduate. It's a
Right.
process. So it hurt me that I got to a point that I had to ask my mother for money. But you see what I'm saying? That I was the one that
So
was
you
giving.
finally getting that piggy bank filled back up again.
You know what I mean? So that can hurt. I mean, that's a struggle for a lot of people. Especially, and then if you're just getting married, and before you get married, you doing all these things or whatever, and then
Right.
after you get married, then right, boom. You
Like,
know
why
what
it had to happen
I mean?
now?
Right after that, and that's a test. And then for everybody, like, who is going to continue to be with me? Like, Because when you're going through it, you really don't pay. Like, this is what we have, and then you take stuff for granted.
Right.
And we used to, you know, oh, we're going to a public pool. Let's go to the hotel and go swim. You know what I mean? But we had it like that. But then when you don't have it, you know, you get humble. You got to take jobs. You know what I mean?
Go get that $3
Because at the
bag
end of
from
the day,
the
you
pool.
still got to provide. You got to still provide. So you know, it's hard. And for someone that the people that are prideful just have all this pride, they can't at the time. They can't. You know, you my sister. Hey, I need to borrow some money. They can't do that.
Right.
So a lot of people go into a depression or whatever, and then a lot of that comes from suicide. That leads into suicide
Right.
because they have so much pride. I am the one who used to give people money. Now I have to borrow money, and that was like me, like that. I got to a dark place, like, man, if it weren't for God, like, just believe in Him, because a lot of people is going through that right now because our economy is so messed up.
Right. Very true.
So
Have you
what-
been in that place?
Oh, yeah, oh.
And how did you deal with it?
For me, when, mine was actually when I was going through my divorce. So I chose to, like, okay, I chose to end the marriage. So because I chose to end the marriage, and mind you, most of my marriage, I was a stay-at-home mom. So, I
I
was
was going fair for real.
So you had to re-enter the workforce.
re-in the
after-
workforce.
After dealing with the stress of a divorce, having children to raise.
Yep, and then the
That's
person
hard.
not wanting to pay child support or alimony because I shouldn't have left.
That's
So they so it was like, okay.
Or-
what do you do?
Well, what we found out also is when it comes to child support, the banks take a lot of fees out. So it's
Yeah.
$100 minus. On average, it could be higher or lower. It could be $150 minus what you putting in each
Yeah,
time
and sometimes
for child
the
support.
fees
You're
are
like,
more than the child
Well,
support.
see,
Wow.
my situation was a little bit different because he was in the military. So my
Okay.
thing was unfortunately going through that whole process because he was in the military and then he was a Mason. So if his superiors are Mason, they kind of like running interference, So I'm trying to get in contact with them. They're not answering me. So it's like, okay, what do you do? What do you do? So that went on well over close to a year. Close to a year. Not getting anything. 3 kids. And that responsibility really went on my family member because when I left home, it was just, one, to come back with, there's 4 of us now.
Right.
And so that responsibility was put on really on my family member, and it
you
really,
have a
it
loving
wasn't
family.
there. Yeah, because it
My
wasn't
mom
their
like, look.
responsibility.
You ain't coming back with no kids.
So it was difficult. Like you said, it was only God who got me through it. Because it was so funny, one of the things going through that whole process when I first moved back, it was like in November 2000, I moved back. And very end of November, and it was like, okay, going into the Christmas season, so I'm looking for a job. And it's like, it was a culture shock in itself moving back to Kentucky. So I was like, ugh. But one of the things, and it's so funny, God, here's the smallest prayer. And I said, God, I need a job, and I got to get a cell phone so I can keep in contact with the kids so they need to call me, blah, 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 while I'm out looking for a job, they can, or whatever. Well, why is it that I said, well, let me go to a temporary service. They offered me 2 jobs. They offered me a job. One, it was temp to perm at this dairy, but it reminded me, it was in Reading. Well, my last recollection of Reading was not good at all.
And they ain't changed.
Yeah, no. And then the other one, they said, well, it's a temporary job. It paid more, but it was a temporary job. They said it would never go full time. Well, I said, you know what? Based on my recollection of what happened to me when I was in Reading, I was like, you know what? I'll take that permanent temporary job. Well, it just so happened to be, it was working at a Sprint main business office. So because I was an employee, well, they gave me a cell phone.
Wow.
So I did, yeah. So they gave me a cell phone. So
See, that's why I tell people about what do you want as opposed to the tools of money. Because you get a free cell phone, or do you want to pay for that cell phone and then have less money to do some other stuff with?
But I asked God, I asked him for 2 little things. I said, God, I need a job and I need a cell phone. He gave me a job, they gave me a cell phone.
See how that works?
And
See,
I
and,
did
and
that.
it's a line when you start to put in your priorities. What do I actually want? A cell phone. What I want? A car. What I want? A job. What I want? This,
But
that, and other. It puts you in the right mindset as opposed to I just have to have money. Then you'll get money in any kind of way. You don't necessarily. Okay, you can also go to jail with that money.
Right.
That's you need to have that right mindset. People embezzle all the time, saying, "Hey, I work at a bank or I work at a place where I can take cash." You got extra money and extra sentence in jail.
Right.
So I mean, it's not just That's what I was saying. It doesn't matter what kind of. You have to have that right mindset ahead of time. Where am I going? What do I need?
And then even in like I said, when they told me it's a temporary job. Well, I did that temp job for 10 months. Holy Spirit said, check the website because they had a self-managed, like an HR.
Right.
Well, when I checked, there was 3 positions open in that office that I was working. Went through the whole process. Friday, I left as a temporary employee. Monday, I walked in as a full-time employee.
That's what happened. That's how I ended up in property the same way.
So he took care of me. And even in that whole process, I mean, it gets even better. When I came on, I went to the interview. So the person who hired me brought me in at the same rate, which was like November, like they brought me in at the same rate. And I asked for more. I asked, I gave like, hey, ask for this. But no, she's like, no, I can't do that. Well, time went by, and she only offered me X amount of dollars. Well, something told me, once again, check that HR website. Well, she brought me in below what the basic was. And once I found out, I went to at that point, this is my office manager. I went to her and I said, hey, I'm getting paid less than what's the bottom line. So, she only wanted to pay me $10 an hour, and I went in asking for, I think I went in asking for 27, something like that, at that time when so anyway, I went to my manager. My manager went to bat for me. Not only did I get retro pay, but she had me put up to 28.8. So I got all the back pay that I missed, plus a promotion to above to where I asked. I asked for 27.
Right.
27.50. She brought me a 28.8. So that whole process, God took care.
That's good.
That whole process, but that financial piece, and it brought me during that season of my life. I was actually living on one paycheck.
Right.
I can live on one paycheck, save the other paycheck, because I could actually cover my expenses.
Right.
So those types of things, that's something that's very important to me, and I believe I kind of like you. You're not married until your money's married, because that requires full trust in the other individual. If your wallet is not married, you're not married, because it's too easy to say, well, you pay this bill and you pay that bill, and like even now we were just laughing and joking, but I get married again, we already having a discussion, because the thing is, people want the responsibility. We want to be married, but I'm old tradition. I am going to work, but if something should happen where I choose not to, dude, can you carry the load? And that's my question. I am going to work, but if I choose not to work, can you handle the load?
What do you mean choose not to work? What if he choose not to work? You want to be a stay-home dad?
No. You don't have any kids.
No, but so why you choose?
Because of where, he is the head of the household. And most likely, now, just because he's the head of the household, that doesn't mean that I couldn't make more money than him.
Right. Oh,
You
that's
know,
another
he makes-
topic. Ooh, yeah. We just talked
Well,
about
I think it can go either way. But one thing that has to happen is that, like, if you chose to stay home, that has to be a joint decision.
Right.
Y'all have to say,
Exactly.
okay, we're gonna stay, I'm gonna stay home. Okay, I can handle this. I mean, I was at a temp job and I hated this temp job. And it was like, I'm like, I can't, it happened twice. The first time, it was like when I came in with my engagement ring, it was a wrap. In the office full of unhappy, not getting done women. It was not gonna fly. So I'm like, okay, they started nitpicking at every little thing, and I'm like, I can't do this. I was like, Barry, please, please let me leave. He was like, pack your stuff, you do. Then the second time it happened, the people were just unbelievably stupid. Like, I know that doesn't sound right, but they were just so dumb. And I'm like, I have a headache when I walk in there because they're so dumb. I come in there, they tell me, oh, we ain't got nothing for you to do. What you hiring Tim for?
I would have said that to
Anyway.
Flowers to that one.
Yeah, you brought me roses today.
She got the roses.
I was like,
She's like, I'm out of here.
I sure did.
You gonna
He
come
bought
back
me the
and put 'em
roses
your
on.
desk?
He bought me the roses on a Friday. He was like, you ain't gonna go back and get your roses. I'm like, I appreciate the sentiment. I know you love me. They can keep the roses. But you know, that was something I had to discuss with him to make sure that he could carry that, you know, while I was looking for something else.
Right.
So,
But I was telling you another one was, hey, this job don't look too good.
right.
On the outside, the company looks very bad.
Right.
And they were promising her stuff, and I was like, they can't keep that promise.
They're like, we can hire you on, like, y'all too dumb to hire me on. I don't.
No, they too broke. They were.
Now, when I was married and I stayed at home, that was something that, like you said, having that discussion, there were things that I became creative. Like when my kids were small, we would do all like the free stuff at the library. But I wasn't the kind of person I'm gonna spend. I knew we had X amount of dollars and I actually paid the bills. So it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pay off X amount of bills, and we were actually able to save money. But again, I became frugal as far as like trying to find things, you know, find as many free things that I can find for the kids, you know, in the neighborhood, puppy shows, you know.
And I
Seriously.
think people sleep on that too. I think that people sleep on the fact that if you are the stay-at-home person, you still have a responsibility. You still have things to do. You still have to be as responsible as the person bringing the money.
Right.
You activity advisor, you're creating things,
Right.
what they have to do, making sure everybody's scheduled.
Because I mean, while you at home, you could have been out there like, we got it. I just spent it.
Right, right.
But you know, you have to have a partner that's responsible enough to know, okay, I'm staying home, but that don't mean that I gotta go crazy.
Exactly.
Well, actually, I had went to a seminar before, actually, when I got laid off for being at the bank for 10.5 years. I went to these different seminars, and one was like, when you get unemployed, be unemployed, lose your job, or what have you, you should get up in the morning. You should act like you're just like you're going to work.
Yep.
And whatever things that you're doing now, you do it like you were going to work.
Or even
Because
earlier than when you
get,
work.
right,
Yeah.
get up early, start your day off early, don't get in that mood of like, oh shoot, I'm sleeping 12 o'clock or whatever because you don't have a job. No, continue to get up early, continue, if you're gonna search for a job at a certain time,
Right.
or you're gonna do this with the kids, or you're gonna go out and you're gonna have lunch, but you're gonna keep your mindset.
Like plan your day,
Right.
because finding a
still
job
have
is
to
a
plan.
full-time job.
Yeah.
So,
Finding a job is hard.
and you still have to schedule other stuff around that.
Right.
Like, hey, this is my time, I have to do this, and then I can get to this.
And people are gonna put more on you too, because they're like, oh, she off, he off.
Right.
So let's go ahead and have him or her run this errand and do that.
Yeah.
Because
When
people
you
did that
have-
to me when I was on maternity leave. I'm like, I'm taking care of a newborn. I'm not running no errands for you.
Right.
You still have a set schedule on it. Even if you have daycare, you have obligations to pick that child up, because
Right.
it costs money if you do it late.
Right.
Charlie's daycare, it's $1 a minute.
Yeah.
And that's a cheap one. Some
Sure
$5.
Yeah. Daycare is costing a lot of money.
And I didn't realize how much daycare was. It seemed like higher as they grow older.
You
I'm
see,
like,
you
I'm
see-
like 200 a week is cheap now. I
You
was
see-
like, what?
You see the trainer driving around in the BMW.
You stop it.
Yeah,
Stop
see.
it. Stop it. Tiny Tots kitty cat.
Yeah. Well, I went to like, she was like, I don't have no man. Can you go to help me pick out a car? I need a new car. Like, you got like 10 cars. I was like, all right, you need my opinion. I help you. She goes to the place like, I want that $73,000 car. Like, they're like, all right, wrap it up. I was like, what you need me
Yeah,
for?
wrap it
Like, what you? Like, I need to see that. Like,
Give you something strapped.
happy birthday, Latrina. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, so yeah, daycares is booming.
Yep.
Booming.
As long as people having kids, you don't need daycare.
Right. So.
Right. So what kind of advice would you give to either married couples or couples that are cohabitating what would you tell them about, I mean, since we've all been unemployed at some point, I want to just go around and ask, what would you tell that person and how to cope with the unemployed spouse or partner? And also, you know, if you're the one employed and that person is not, how do you handle that?
One, you got to have a discussion, first of all, like you said, early in the dating stage, you got to start talking about that money at the very, very beginning. Okay, we're gonna live together. If I was to lose my job, what are we gonna do? And we need to have a plan in place. Okay, if I lose my job,
Right.
you know, and see, the thing is too, if you're living in a $500,000 house, you may have to sell that house,
Right.
you know? Because I know somebody who did, they had a really nice home. That's my dream home. And I said, well, what number house is it? Well, this is my third house. So if God gave you 2 more prior to this, why don't you sell this house, downsize, get something smaller until you can get it, you know, this doesn't have to be your only house. Instead of letting it go into foreclosure, put it on the market while it's still good, and you can get out of it and get into something smaller, get a smaller house.
Right.
You know, something that you can manage on whatever it is, your unemployment, whatever it is that you do until your income increases. But I would say my number one thing, have a discussion about, have a plan in place. If you or I were to lose our job, what would we do? Are you willing to separate and sell that home? Are you really selling? Because some people are holding on to stuff like, they're holding on to stuff.
Right.
If you got it before, you can get it again.
Right.
I think you bring up an important point too about having the discussion beforehand if I lose my job, because I think a lot of people go into marriages or long-term relationships thinking we gonna always be balling,
Yeah.
things are always gonna be great.
Right.
But the thing about long-term relationships is if they're long-term, your intent is usually to stay in them. So it's like when you hit that hard road, when maybe y'all ain't balling no more,
Right.
what are you gonna do? Especially if you don't feel like it's your option to leave. So how are you gonna handle that? So Barry,
And I
what
would
would you
think-
say?
I think patience and encouragement of the person who's saying that, hey, I'm not able to, you know, I wasn't able to stay at this particular thing for whatever reason. And whatever, you know, whether you choose to or the person is laid off, what have you, you have to remember too, it's about stress and people's health are involved. And if they're in a place where they're very, very unhappy when they're working, you know, it can cause all kind of problems. The older
Very
you
true.
become, the worse your health can become based on your stress.
Mm.
So you have to be
Oh,
mindful of that.
you're right.
And so communications, but also patience and encouragement. And that's,
Y'all some smart people. That's good.
I would say, on if you're the one that is unemployed, I think that you have to stay encouraged. Even if you're getting some backlash from your spouse, because quite honestly, I think that is normal. From the research I did on the stuff that we covered today, it is normal for the spouse to feel both empathetic and angry at the same time about you not finding work. And it may be that one day they're like, oh, you know, let me get you this job magazine, or, oh, how are things going? And then the next day they might be, you ain't got no job yet, blah, 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 blah. You know, you might flip back and forth, because what you have to understand is not only is the person unemployed under pressure, but so is the person that is employed. So you got two
Wow.
people that are stressed out,
That is
and they might lash, you know, the person working might lash at the non-working person, non-working person might lash, well, I'm the one that's sitting here trying to find all these jobs, and it seems like I can't do anything good enough, I can't find nothing good enough, this ain't making enough, blah, blah, blah. And then you going at it, and then, you know, one thing I was thinking about is, you know, sometimes people are so worried about jobs and what the job means, what the job pays. And at the end of the day, if you were to die tomorrow, I doubt anybody's gonna be like, you know what, Tiffany was an administrative assistant at P&G. Nobody's gonna care. They're gonna say she was the wife of Barry Stewart. She was the mother of Charlie. That's what they're gonna talk about. They're not gonna talk about what I did to make a living. And I kind of just try to, you're not your job.
Amen.
And I think that when
It's
people
so-
lose their job too, they
They
kind of
lose
lose their identity. I went through
Yeah.
that really hard. I wasn't married yet. But I was working at a job where I made the most money I ever made in my life, but it was the most stressful job that I ever had in my life. And when I lost that job, I felt like I lost purpose. And the thing is, I didn't have anything to go home to distract me. I really felt like I had lost my purpose. And it took me a couple of years to kind of get my bearings and, realize, okay, you're still Tiffany. And the thing is, imagine if you're going through that and you have a child looking at you every day and you feel inadequate because you didn't bring the money in that day. My father told me about being unemployed when I was little. I knew something was going on because my mom had 2 jobs and I wasn't seeing her as much. But I didn't quite understand that he was unemployed and mom was making money to get, keep things going. And he told me when I was in my 30s, like, it hurt me so bad that I wasn't bringing food home. But we were never hungry. So I was like, Dad, if it make you feel better, we didn't know. We ate and ate well. So,
Right.
I didn't even think about, and he was thinking like, we're sitting back thinking like, oh, Dad doesn't have a job. So, we're doing this and we're doing that. I didn't even notice the difference.
So I think good parenting is why you communicate that there's something going on that doesn't hinder relationship or respect for the family member.
And for the kids and stuff like that. So, sweetie, I need y'all to turn that light off. You finish in the kitchen, turn that light off. We're not gonna give,
Man.
don't
Already,
turn the TV.
Shoot, Charlie is not even 3, shutting doors, turning out lights.
Right.
He's on it already,
Right,
just
right.
as a natural, that's just, what I do. So,
he watches you, so he does everything.
Yeah, and then he'll leave his room, set bye to the, and
He'll say bye to the TV.
shut it
He's
down.
like, bye-bye.
And to answer your question, which you had asked, you guys said it all, but I think you hit on it. I had to preach on that before. What you just said, that I had to preach on that because 10.5 years at one place is like being with a great girlfriend. This was the best job I ever had. You know what I mean? We bonuses, like my department, we made good money. Plus we got $700 bonus check on top of the check that I get, and then people, my investors and originators, would send me
Commission. Thank you.
Visa cards for $100 and lunch in my name to the whole department. Non-stop, so that's like having a great girlfriend, and then you get all these benefits. But look, but what you said made so much sense because guess what? I was Mr. Poverty. I was representing them because they had paid me good benefits, but God was like, no, my benefits is way better than you. So listen, I would never leave you or forsake you. This job could be here today, and just like you said, be gone. They'll sell you out, outsource you, everything.
Yep.
So if we got the mindset like, oh, it's great to have a job. But I want to, in my mindset, that God is His benefits. So if you continue to have that faith that God, that I have that benefit, that I'm going to have eternal life, and that God is going to provide for me, I can survive. So then God is telling me to have a mindset of not just working for somebody, but having a mindset that I can have my own business.
And when you first got unemployed, I don't know if you went through this or if any of you were going through this, but my thing was, I gotta find a job to make that much. I gotta find a job to make that much money. No.
No, but here's the thing. Yeah, if you got money, and it's just me, if you got money on the side, to a point, you can say that I'm by myself. Y'all know I work 3 jobs at a time, but I gotta take what I gotta do because I'm gonna be out on the streets. I can't go back to mama's house.
Right.
So if you got somebody that's you leaning on or whatever, but if you get in the mindset like, I gotta do what I gotta do, and if it's for my family, I think I had this talk to you before. And when I was like, oh, I got a second job or whatever, after we was at the other, you were like, shoot, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do to provide because, hey, I'm humble. If you making $47,000, like you said, at the end of the day, it ain't even about that.
Right.
That job is not me, not who I am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's the mistake we make.
But I need money to put in my house. If Charlie was my son, I gotta make some money to come in to provide, or my kids or whatever, I have to provide, no matter, because God is going to make a way. No, I'm going to take this job till I get another job. So I get to that point that I was. And if you have faith, God will get you to that point. Just what we had heard from her. She asked for a simple thing. He blessed her with twice. And that's just being humble, having patience, and knowing that what you trust in is going to happen. Everybody's different. If y'all looked at the jobs I've been on, but at the end of the day, I got a brand new ride. I got a house. The bills don't stop. You lose it. Listen what happened to me. After losing the job at the bank, I worked at Dillard's, and I was still getting my severance, and I was still getting paid, but you can't work for a financial company because I was still getting my pay from the bank. So I had money, but my resume was out there. I mean, it was our first year anniversary. We never went on honeymoon, so we went on a honeymoon. My resume is out there. At the time, Countrywide called me for a job. This is how bad the mortgage was. Call me for a job. You got the job. I'm going to start making good money again. So almost as much as I was making at Providence. They told me this, you'll start, when you want to start? I said, I'm going to take me and my wife, we're going to go on a vacation. Then at this Monday, I'll come back in. She said, now, I want to tell you this. Bank of America is going to buy us out, but it's not going to affect your job. Now I'm going to Donald Trump Beach Resort. I asked my wife, wherever you want to go. I want to go to Donald Trump Beach Resort. Beautiful. Donald Trump, money. That's a lot of money.
Right.
We
Bankrupt.
we paid money. We paid a lot of money, but we didn't spend a whole lot. We never do. I came back, checked my emails. There's an email saying there's a hiring freeze. I never worked a day.
Right.
So
Wow.
you can come in and sign these papers, so I'm saying these papers going to pay for my mortgage.
Man, that's funny how that happened.
So
The same thing happened to me when I was just getting out of college. I was supposed to work in West Virginia. They're like, oh, we're on hiring freeze. What?
How you hire somebody and don't work a day?
Right.
That happened to me when I was supposed to go to Chicago, too. Like, that happened to me.
So that's when it got so bad. I'm like, I ain't even mess with the mortgage business no more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get depressed because you telling your wife you happy, like, I got this job. I quit Dillard's. Dillard's wasn't paying much, but it was keeping everything good.
It was
I
more than
quit.
zero.
Like, man, I couldn't wait. I quit. I'm gone. Peace deuces. I got me a better job. That's gone. So now I'm losing the job for 10.5 years. And hey, baby, I'm back. We're back.
Well, we're going to have to get out of here. It's been a great show.
Yes.
Either one of you want to take us out?
It's you.
It's on. Right? Okay.
About 40 seconds.
Okay. I haven't done this in such a long time, which is, I give it to Tiffany. I'm sorry.
What am I taking us out with?
Just saying.
Well, I think this was a good show. I think that we gave a lot of useful information, especially in these days and times, this bad economy. And I'm just glad that we all had this conversation. Hope that somebody out there got some help out of this.
I did. It was good. It was good. Really good.
Even if it's nothing but to get out the stuff that you had on your heart all this time.
And we'll see you next time on Barry's Poetic Session.
Save that money.
Peace.